ועל דרך זה יש לפרש עניין כי Sisa ראש בני ישראל חולו. And similarly, you can explain the concept of lifting up the heads of the sons of Israel. Uksiv, Se'ues Rosh Chulu Tifkedeim, and it says lift up their head and to count them. Shezeu ha'ala v'romamus. This is a lifting up and an elevation. Sheyiyu sforim u'menuim kikochavim, that they should be counted like the stars. Shenemar behem amotzi b'mispar tzva'am. That says about the stars that he takes them out and counts them and counts their hosts. Like it says in the time to come, that the righteous of the multitude will be like stars, and so forth. That is to say, that they will be a merkava to Zir Anpin. That is the 6 midos times 10,000, so that's the 600,000 of Israel, and that's to count the Rov of Israel from the Lashon of Ribo of the 600,000. The Haya Mispar B'nai Israel, and it'll be the number of B'nai Israel. So to the Navi says that in the future the sheep will be passed over to be counted. We can say that the counting of the sheep of Bnei Israel in the future, this is a higher level than the 6 sides of Zir Anpin, Kim Vav Ksavos Tarich Anpin. That's the Vav sides of Arich V'Aziyah Mispar Bnei Israel Asher Lo Yisaper. And that's when you're going to have the concept of the number that you can't count, because it's coming from Arich. Now to explain these concepts in Chassidus and in service of Hashem, Vainu Kifar Mevur L'Mayla Shinyin Mispar Nimshach Mebechinas Aser Sfiros, because we already explained that the concept of number is drawn down from the 10 Sfiros, from the Lashon Lispor, to count and so forth. Asher Hem Gam Kin Lashon Mispar. Just like something that is counted gives it an extra importance, so too that's the concept of how the 10 spheres are more important without measure, more than all of the other existence. For example, something that its existence is much less, that it's rare, so it becomes more valuable. Just like the value of gold over silver, because there's less of it in the world. Or like it says in Medrash Rabbah and Vayikra, that there are 10 things that are called precious. Ben Yakil li Ephraim Chulu, the precious son to me is Ephraim. Adam Echad Me'elef Matzasi Chulu, I found one person out of 1,000, so and so forth. Ayin Sham, look over there. So meaning to say, because he's rare, that he's like 1 out of 1,000, therefore he's precious. He's Yakar. Vihine Seder ha'ishtalshalos milamayla lamata. Now the order of gradation of creation from above to below. Kol mashanim shach lamata misra behamispar. The further down it goes, the greater the number. V'kemoshakas u'betorah or al pasuk vihine anachnu malmim malumim. Like it's brought in Torah or on the verse, and here we were gathering sheaves, chulu and so forth in the dream of Yosef. And this is the concept of the great number of vessels and letters and spheros, shein krovim yoser le'Ein Sof Baruch Hu, that these concepts, the vessels and letters and spheros, are closer to the infinite, may be blessed in rak eser spheros. I'm sorry, that's the number of the many letters and vessels. Spheros, however, the spheros, shein krovim yoser le'Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which are closer to the infinite, hem rak eser spheros, there's only 10 spheros. And not so like the many letters and vessels. Eser v'lo seisha, eser v'lo achadasar, that you have 9 and not 10, and 9 and not 11. V'em eser spheros haklalim, and these are 10 general spheros. Amash v'av ksavos tezah mischalkim l'samech ribo, and this, that the 6 sides of Zah divide into 600,000, zehu bechinas chitzonius hakelim. That's the external level of the vessels. And much lower than the essential level of the 10 sfiros. That in them is enclosed the infinite light. Truly, which is not the case with the details. That it divides into many branches. That's the external level of the vessels. Like it's brought in another place in the concept of so too my loved one is amongst the daughters. Therefore the 10 spheres which are closer to him, they're maybe blessed, they're only in the number 10. Now there's 10 spheres and there's garments. Now the garments. Now there's both the spheros and the garments. The 10 spheros, it says about them that he and his levushim, his garmoy are one. He and his maybe the kalim are one, which is not the case with the levushim. Or Parshas Vayira b'dibur maskil pasich Aliyah, b'Parshas Yisro b'dibur maskil zocher v'shamar b'dibur echad mevor sham sheshor shana Shemos. So it explains in these Mamorim that the source of the Shemos, av she'alu b'machshava, even though they came up in thought, it's not from the spheros themselves, but from the garments. Because we're talking about the Neshamos, there's 600,000, so it's not from the Atzmius, it's from the Levushim. And through their descent and their enclothment in a body and an animalistic soul, and through fulfilling the Torah and the mitzvahs, through this they're elevated lishtava begufa the malka mamash, to truly cleave to the, so to speak, body of the king. Because the 248 positive commandments are the 248, so to speak, limbs of the king. That these are drawn down from the 9 spheros of Zeranpin, test pamim test, which 9 times 9. Who pei aleph is 81. B'kol echad yesh rosh toch sof, and each one of these 81 has the top and the middle and the bottom. Hare resh mem gimel, so that's 243. V'im hei chasadim hamagdilin, and with 5 kindnesses that greaten the spheros of Zah, who ramach, that's 248. Nimsa hem nikraim kivyachol gufa de malka. So it's found then that the spheres of Zeranpin are, so to speak, the body of the king. V'zeu vasisim osam, and this is what our sages said about the verse. And you should do them. V'amru razal kilo asauni. That it's as if you've made me. Vasisim atam. It's as if you're dorish. That it's as if you've made me. Because you're making the body of the king, so to speak, by doing the mitzvahs which correspond to the limbs of the king. And therefore, through fulfilling the Torah mitzvos, you have this concept of cleaving to the body of the king. That is through charity and kindness. It's included the concept of that kindness is the right hand, truly. And through going away from evil. In a concept of who is strong, somebody who conquers his inclination. That's included in this concept. That strength is the left arm and so forth. And this is what the pasuk says, that it will not be pushed away from him, someone who is pushed away. What does it mean from him, truly from him, meaning to say to the inclusion of in the Ein Sof, from godliness itself, not just from in front of him or something like that, but being united with the Ein Sof through doing the mitzvos, in the concept of the 10 Sfiros, that them is enclosed. The infinite light may be blessed. And that is also through prayer, which is in the place of sacrifice, to purify the animalistic soul, like one offers up the animal to Hashem. That through this it's like the concept of the animals of the angels that lift up the throne of glory. That you lift up the animal, and the animals being lifted up, like when the animals go up, when the chayos of the holy animals go up, they, so to speak, lift up the throne of glory. This elevates the throne. That this is the source of the souls of Israel, that they're engraved under the throne of glory. That this is the concept of the elevating the source of the neshamos in the throne of honor. And so too, not just elevating the throne, but also the concept of the man upon the throne, the Adam that's on the throne, to elevate that level and to unite it to the infinite light. Truly, so that's in general a concept of Bria and Atzilos, the throne and the person on the throne, and to elevate these levels to the infinite. To truly cleave to the concept of the body of the king. Like it says in another place in the concept of the man who was gathering wood on Shabbos, and on the Mamar that explains that I showed myself to Abraham. And this is the concept. When you lift up the head, לפקודיהם, to their numbers, that there should be in a concept of that, like it says in Yeshaya, that he takes them out in number. He takes their hosts out in number, that is to say, that's the inclusion into the 10 spheres, that the spheres are the number. And to take out the neshamos to the number means to say to elevate them, the Sisa, you're going to elevate them to their source, back up into the 10 spheros, that the 10 spheros, through their descent, they divide into the 600,000 neshamos Yisrael, and when you elevate these souls, you elevate them back up into the 10, and so you have so the 10 spheres divide into 600,000, and to the 12 diagonals, and so forth. V'chein amru Razal pasuk mi bara ele. So too our sages said on the verse, who created these? Hamotzi b'mispar tzva'am chulu. He takes them out in number. B'schus minivrao ele tolu s'shamayim chulu. So in whose merit were these created? The heavens, the offspring of the heaven, and so forth. So in the merit of Eila, just like Eila told us, Hashemayim. So you have Eila, Shemos b'nei Israel. These are the names of the sons of Israel. That's who in the merit you have the offspring of the heaven. So Hamotzi b'mispar tzva'am, that he takes the mountain number is because of the number of Bnei Israel. Harehem b'chinas pnimius shel toldos hashamayim. That so there, if that's the case, that it's because of Bnei Israel, so they're the inner concept of the offspring of heaven. Shneamar b'hem hamotzi b'mispar tzva'am. It says about them that he takes them out in their hosts out in number. Ish lo nedar, no one's missing. That's so too, and how much more so in the concept of these are the names of the sons of Israel and so forth. Because there's 10 spheros of the 4 worlds of B'tzilas B'riyah Tzirasiyah ve'ele toldos hashamayim af shenemar behem hamotzi b'mispar. And these are the offspring of heaven, even though it says that it takes the mountain number. That is to say, that it takes them out from the private property, which is compared to Atzilus, to the public property, which is the worlds of Bri, Tzir, and Asiyah. That's what it means. He takes them out. What's taking out? Taking from private property to public property. That's to take out. That is the descent. And what does it mean in number? That's the sphere from Mlashon Sfiros of the Hamutzi b'mispar. He takes them out into the mispar, into the 10 spheros of the lower worlds of Bri, Tzira, and Asiyah. But the number of the souls of Israel, who be'eser sfiros tatzilus hamyuchadim b'insof baruch hu. The number of the souls of Israel is in the 10 spheros of Atzilus that are united with the infinite, may be blessed. That is to say, because Neshamas Yisrael are the Pnimius, therefore their number is in Atzilus. But the Toldos Hashemayim, the offspring of heaven, which we said is the Chitzon, is the external concept in comparison to the souls of Israel. So the counting of the souls of Israel is internal, and therefore it's in the world of Atzilus. But the offspring of heavens is external, and therefore they are amotzi b'mispar. They go out from that Atzilus, from the Rishus HaYachid, into Biyah. Kitzer in Yanki Sisa. So we talked about the concept of when you lift up and how the righteous of the many are like stars. That they're in the number of the hosts. Like the Hamotzi b'mispar. Mishar Mispar, and that is to say that you have these 10 spheres which are more precious than other numbers because they're more rare. V'yesh levushim, and you have this concept of the garments of the spheros that the neshamos come from. Shorash neshamos levushim, and the source of the souls comes from these garments to the 10 spheros. V'alidei Hatorah mitzvos misalim ishtava begufa de malka. And through the Torah mitzvahs, we are elevated to cleave to the spheres themselves, to, so to speak, the body of the king, which is the concept of the spheres 9 times 9, and Rosh Tochsof of Za. Inyan ki tisas Rosh. And this is the concept when you lift up the head, and you lift Lefkודיהם, that is to their numbers. What are you lifting up the heads of Bnei Israel to? That is to the numbers, to the Sfiros. Mispar, through the number Mispar Yisrael, Shenechlulu B'Esher Sfiros, the number of Israel, which were included in the 10 Sfiros.